So I had the idea that dried yucca stalks would make a great insulation because they're hard on the outside and they're super light and airy and spongy on the inside. And this was exciting to me because I formerly had rock wool insulation, as you can see behind me, in the wall of my shipping container tiny home, and I was going to have to buy paneling or drywall to put over it, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted something natural, like clay that I could get from the land. So by putting these yucca stalks in the wall, then I can make my clay plaster, which I'm calling my clay drywall, and put it over it. So I'm using, these are juniper leaves, and these are chopped weeds from my neighbor's yard when he did his weed whacking, and I'm mixing those together with clay. This is clay from my land that I soaked and I sifted it, and I mix it together, and that's what I'm making my drywall out of. And when I first started this, as you can see on the right, there's a light patch on the wall. That's where I just used clay and juniper leaves, but I just didn't have a lot of leaves that I could use, and it makes a rough surface. And so when my neighbor had all these weeds, I said, let me try that. But as you can see, the dark area, that's where I did the clay with the neighbor's weeds. There's no juniper in it. And it actually molded a little when it started drying. So I painted it with white vinegar, and that made it go away. But I think it's because there were leaves in the mix and because it was cooler, wetter weather. Now that it's really dry out, I'm doing it again, but this time I'm mixing the juniper leaves with the weeds, so that will help prevent molding. And you can see how hard it is. I was banging a rock on this earlier. It's very hard. It's like drywall. And this is the section that was just juniper and clay. And you can see it's very rough, but once the entire wall's finished, I'll plaster over it with a really thin plaster to make it all uniform, or I'll paint it with my earthen paint that I make. And I'm so excited about how this is working. For me, having earthen walls feels so rich and luxurious and from the land.